All right, welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
I think this one's going to be pretty wild.
Yeah.
Um, we're looking at the Starseed Transmissions
Okay.
and the Law of One.
Right. Two pretty cosmic sources.
You ever heard of either of these?
I have, yeah. I've looked into both of these quite a bit. I find them both fascinating.
Yeah, I think a lot of our listeners are probably familiar, at least with, the Law of One.
Right.
Maybe not so much the Starseed Transmissions, but they both kind of touch on similar themes,
We do. Yeah.
but with their own unique twists.
Yeah, definitely unique perspectives, and I think it'll be really interesting to compare and contrast them, see where they overlap, where they diverge.
So
Uh,
I guess that's our mission for this deep dive, is to kind of break down
Yeah.
the core concepts from both sources,
Mm.
see where they kind of align, where they maybe take a different turn. So what do you say? Are we ready to dive in?
Absolutely, I'm ready.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, yeah.
Because we're about to tackle some pretty big questions.
Yeah.
Like what is consciousness really?
Right.
What's the deal with this veil that we hear about?
Yeah, that's a big one.
And what role does free will actually play in all of this?
Yeah, these are huge questions, and I think these two sources offer some really interesting insights.
Okay, well, why don't we start with the Starseed Transmissions?
Mhm.
I feel like that's maybe the one that people are less familiar with.
Yeah, that's a good starting point. The Starseed Transmissions kind of puts forward this, I don't know, I find it really poetic, this idea that consciousness isn't like some kind of byproduct of the brain.
Oh, okay.
It's actually fundamental to creation. Like it's the source of everything.
Okay, so instead of like matter
Yeah,
being the building block of the universe, it's consciousness.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Consciousness is the primary force.
So what does that even mean, like, for us here on Earth? How does that, I don't know, how does that actually play out?
Well, think of it this way. Imagine matter as a dancer,
Okay.
and consciousness is the music.
Okay.
So matter is moving and grooving to the rhythm of consciousness, and that's what's creating the world as we know it.
So we're all just like dancing to the beat of a cosmic drum.
Yeah, kind of like that.
That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah, I think so. It's a nice analogy.
But the Starseed Transmissions goes even further than that, right?
It does.
It talks about these pre-incarnate beings,
Yeah.
almost like, I don't know, souls before they become human, like impregnating the earth with awareness.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds a little out there, even for me.
It's a bold image.
Yeah.
But I think what they're getting at is this idea that, Earth itself isn't just this lump of rock. It's actually infused with consciousness. Like there's a universal consciousness
Okay.
that's kind of that's permeating everything.
So we've got this idea of consciousness as the foundation of everything.
Right.
How does the Law of One approach this idea?
So the Law of One, Ra, the entity channeled in the Law of One,
Right.
offers a similar but slightly more, technical explanation, you could say.
Okay.
They introduce this concept of the logos.
Okay.
And I know that might sound kind of intimidating at first,
Yeah.
but think of it this way. If the universe had a master architect,
Okay.
the logos would be the original blueprint.
Okay.
It's the source code, you could say, of creation where everything originates.
That's a pretty huge concept.
That is.
So where do we fit into all of this?
Right.
Like, if consciousness is the building block and there's this grand blueprint, what are we even doing here?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is where this idea of densities comes in. So Ra talks about densities as different levels of spiritual evolution within the octave of experience. Think of it kind of like levels in a video game.
Okay.
You start at level 1,
Right.
and as you learn and grow, you progress to higher levels.
Okay. And each level has its own set of challenges and rewards.
So like you don't just like go to heaven or hell after you die.
Right, right.
You progress through levels based on your spiritual evolution.
Exactly, yeah. It's a process of growth and evolution.
But think of it like a cosmic video game, right? Where your choices determine your next level. That's kind of a mind-blowing concept, and it kind of makes you think about, what level are we currently on?
Right.
And what do we need to do to level up?
Exactly.
Right.
And I think, both of these sources suggest that where we are now here on Earth, it's not the end of the story. It's more like a chapter
Right.
in a much larger narrative.
Okay. So we're starting to get a handle on this idea of consciousness being like the fundamental thing.
Yeah.
But both sources also talk about this veil
Right.
this mysterious veil.
Yeah, what is that all about? That's a big
I
mystery.
know. So they both describe it as this thing that separates us from our true nature.
Like from experiencing the full extent of consciousness.
Right.
It's like we're wearing these cosmic blinders, like
Yeah.
that limit our perception of reality.
Yeah, it's like we're only seeing a sliver of
Yeah.
what's actually there.
But why would we choose to forget our true nature?
Right.
Like, that seems counterintuitive.
It does, yeah.
Oh.
So the Starseed Transmissions describes this veil as kind of like a metaphorical screen, something we need to pierce through to access our full potential.
Okay.
But Ra in the Law of One offers this really fascinating perspective, I think. They suggest that the veil is actually a deliberate choice.
Wait, so it's not like some higher power is
Right.
keeping us in the dark?
No,
We actually chose to have this limited experience.
it's like we agreed to it.
Why? Like, what's the point of that?
Well, think about it. If we were constantly aware of our true nature, as these like infinite interconnected beings,
Okay.
would our choices really matter?
I guess not.
Would there be any real sense of consequence?
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying.
So the veil, according to Ra, allows for genuine choice.
Okay.
The kind that makes every decision, every action
Sure.
a chance to learn and grow.
So it's like the universe is saying, okay, you want to play the game of life.
Yeah.
Here are some rules. You forget who you truly are.
Right.
You face challenges.
Right.
And every choice you make has real weight.
Exactly. It raises the stakes.
Yep.
It makes every decision count.
Wow. That's a pretty intense way to look at things.
It is.
So the veil isn't some kind of punishment then. It's actually like a tool
Yeah.
to help us learn and grow more effectively.
That's how they see it. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a cosmic training ground, you could say.
Right. Okay. So a key element of this veil is the forgetting process.
Yeah. That's a big one.
We essentially agree to forget
Right.
our true nature, our origins,
Right.
when we incarnate, and that allows for genuine choice and accelerated learning.
Exactly.
So every lifetime is like hitting the reset button,
Yeah.
giving us a fresh start to see what choices we'll make
Right.
and how we'll evolve.
And that's the beauty of it, I think. Each lifetime is a new opportunity.
Yeah. This is a lot to take in. Are you following so far?
Yeah, I think so. It's like we're piecing together this cosmic puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. And I think before we get too overwhelmed, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be back in a flash to continue unpacking these mind-blowing ideas.
Sounds good. All right, so I hope you had a moment there to just let those ideas about consciousness and the veil kind of sink in, because we're about to layer on another really intriguing concept: wanderers.
Ooh, yes. Wanderers. This is where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah, this is where it gets really juicy.
Now, remember how the Starseed Transmissions talked about those pre-incarnate beings kind of like impregnating the Earth with awareness?
Right, yeah.
Well, wanderers are basically those souls who decided to take it a step further and actually incarnate here.
Yeah, they're like, all right, I'm not just going to send my energy. I'm going to go there myself.
Yeah. Like they signed up for a cosmic exchange program,
Exactly.
leaving their home in a higher density
Yeah,
to experience life in the third density.
right.
Okay, so hold on. Does that mean wanderers are like literally from other planets
Not necessarily other
or
planets.
dimensions?
Yeah.
Is that what these sources are
It's
suggesting?
not necessarily from other planets, but according to the Law of One, they do come from those higher densities that we were talking about earlier.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like they've volunteered for a mission to help raise the vibration of Earth,
Okay.
assist humanity in its evolution.
So a wanderer isn't literally someone from another planet,
Yeah.
but a soul that originated
Yeah.
in a higher density and chose to incarnate here to help.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the universe has its own Peace Corps.
Yeah, I like that.
But if they came here to help, why would they agree to go through the forgetting process?
Right.
Wouldn't that make their mission a lot harder?
It's a great question, and one that both sources actually address. They say the forgetting process is crucial because it allows wanderers to experience the third density authentically,
Oh, okay.
to face the same challenges,
Yeah.
make choices
Yeah.
without the full awareness of their origins.
So it's like they're undercover agents
Yes.
for like the forces of light, working behind the scenes to help humanity evolve.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Right. Now imagine the challenges they face though, right? They're dropped into this dense, often chaotic reality
Yeah.
with a mission they can't fully remember,
Yeah.
surrounded by people who may not understand them.
Right.
It's no wonder they often feel a sense of alienation,
Right.
a longing for a home they can't quite place.
Exactly, yeah. That feeling of not belonging, of being a stranger in a strange land.
Have you ever met someone, who just seems incredibly wise
Oh,
or
yeah.
compassionate,
Yeah.
almost like they have some secret knowledge?
Yeah, like they've seen things.
Well, according to these sources, they might actually be a wanderer.
They might be.
And it makes you wonder, if this is true, how many wanderers are out there living among us?
Right, it's impossible to say for sure. The law of one suggests there are a significant number, but their true identities are often hidden even from themselves.
That's so fascinating. Okay, so let's say, someone listening to this is thinking, wait a minute, maybe I'm a wanderer.
Right.
What are some signs they should look for?
Well, both sources highlight a few key characteristics. Wanderers often feel, as we said, that deep sense of not belonging. They might have vivid dreams or memories that seem out of place, a strong connection to nature, or a yearning for spiritual exploration.
I gotta say, I can relate to some of those.
I think a lot of people can.
Yeah. Being a wanderer sounds like it comes with a heavy responsibility.
It does.
What's their role in this grand cosmic scheme of things?
Well, the Starseed Transmissions suggests wanderers act as beacons of light.
Okay.
Their very presence helps to raise the vibration of the planet.
Okay.
They might be healers, artists, teachers,
Okay.
anyone who inspires others to connect with their own inner truth.
Okay. And the law of one adds that wanderers often carry a unique energetic signature.
Yes.
Like a higher vibration that sets them apart. It's like they're emitting a different frequency.
Exactly.
One that can uplift and inspire those around them.
And that's why they often feel so different.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder, are they the ones who kind of kickstart those big leaps in human consciousness?
Right.
Those moments where we collectively say, hey, there's a better way to do things.
Yeah, it's like they're planting seeds of higher awareness.
Right.
But it's not always easy for them. The law of one also emphasizes the challenges wanderers face, particularly navigating the denser energies of the third density. They might struggle with relationships, feel overwhelmed by the negativity of the world, or even experience health issues as their energy bodies adjust.
So it's not all rainbows and unicorns for these cosmic volunteers.
No, it's definitely a challenging path.
It sounds like being a wanderer is both like a blessing and a challenge?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's a calling, but it comes with its own set of trials.
What advice do these sources offer for those who might resonate with the wanderer archetype?
Well, both sources emphasize the importance of self-care.
Okay.
Of finding practices that help wanderers stay grounded and connected to their higher selves.
So it's like they need to recharge their batteries regularly.
Exactly, yeah. They need to replenish their energy. The Starseed Transmissions encourages meditation, connecting with nature, nurturing creativity.
Yeah.
These are all ways to kind of stay aligned with their purpose.
Right. And the law of one adds that wanderers often benefit from practices like energy work or working with crystals,
Yeah.
anything that helps them manage their energetic sensitivity.
Exactly, yeah. Anything that helps them kind of shield themselves from the lower vibrations.
Okay, this is all incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, even if we don't identify as wanderers, we're all on a spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
And both sources offer, valuable insights into the practical aspects of spiritual development.
Right.
The Starseed Transmissions encourages us to trust our intuition, that inner voice that speaks to us in whispers, that nudges us in certain directions.
Yeah, that gut feeling.
Yeah, it's like learning to listen to our gut feelings even when they don't make logical sense.
Right. And to trust that there's a deeper wisdom guiding us.
Okay. What about the law of one? What guidance does Ray offer for those of us navigating this wild ride called life?
So Ra outlines a more, I guess you could say, structured approach. They emphasize the importance of activating and balancing our energy centers, or what we call chakras.
Okay.
So they describe these chakras as spinning wheels of energy, each associated with different aspects of our being: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual.
It's like tuning a musical instrument,
Yes.
ensuring that each string is vibrating at its optimal frequency so we can play our most beautiful song.
That's a perfect analogy.
Right.
Ra suggests that when our chakras are balanced and flowing freely, we experience greater harmony, vitality, and connection to to the divine.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's
What are some practical ways we can work with our chakras?
Well, Ra recommends practices like meditation, visualization, working with crystals.
Hmm.
All of these can help to balance and align our energy centers. They also emphasize the importance of service to others,
Okay.
of shifting our focus from me to we
Okay.
and contributing to the well-being of all beings.
So it's not just about focusing on our own personal growth.
Right.
It's also about recognizing our interconnectedness,
Exactly.
finding ways to make a positive impact on the world around us. That's a powerful message.
It is.
But the Law of One also talks about, this concept of karma,
Right. Yeah. Karma.
and that can be kind of a tricky subject for people to wrap their heads around.
It is.
So it's not like some cosmic scorecard where you get points deducted for every mistake you make.
No, not at all. It's not about punishment.
Okay.
The Law of One explains that karma is about balance and learning.
Okay.
Think of it like a cosmic boomerang.
Okay.
What you put out into the world eventually comes back to you, creating opportunities for growth and understanding.
So those patterns we seem to keep repeating in our lives.
Right?
Maybe those are like karmic lessons we haven't quite learned yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Ross suggests that we carry these karmic patterns from lifetime to lifetime. They manifest as recurring challenges or difficult relationships, but they're offering us chances to heal and evolve.
So instead of like fearing karma, we
Right.
should see it as a teacher
Yeah.
guiding us towards greater understanding and ultimately liberation.
Exactly. It's not something to be afraid of. It's a tool for growth.
Okay, I know we've covered a lot of ground in this section, from wanderers to chakras to karma.
Yeah, we've been all over the map.
It's a lot to take in. What would you say are the most important takeaways from this part of our deep dive?
Well, I think the key message here is that whether we identify as wanderers or not, we're all on this journey of spiritual evolution.
Right?
We have access to incredible tools and guidance, both within ourselves and from sources like the Starseed Transmissions and the Law of One.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to choose which paths resonate, what practices support our growth,
Yeah.
and how we want to contribute to the evolution of consciousness.
Beautifully said. And remember, this is your journey. Trust your intuition, be curious, and enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up this epic deep dive,
Right.
there's one more crucial piece of the puzzle we need to explore. Like, what's the point of all this spiritual growth?
Yeah, that's the big
Like,
question.
what's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate destination.
So stay tuned as we tackle that very question in the final part of our exploration. Okay, so we're back, and I feel like, we've been through a lot. We've explored consciousness, the veil, wanders,
Still a lot, yeah.
all these challenges of spiritual development.
Yeah.
But the big question that's kind of looming over all this is like, what's the point?
Right.
What's the ultimate goal of this grand cosmic adventure that we're on?
That is the big question, isn't it? And both the Starseed Transmissions and the Law of One offer some pretty interesting perspectives on this, I think.
Okay, so let's start with the Starseed Transmissions. It talks about a second coming of consciousness,
Yeah.
a collective awakening that will transform humanity. Is that what they see as like the end game?
In a way, yeah. The Starseed Transmissions paints this incredibly, optimistic, hopeful picture
Okay.
of a future where the veil is lifted and humanity recognizes its true nature as, divine beings connected to the source of all creation.
So it's like we all wake up from this collective dream and we realize we're all part of something much bigger,
Yeah.
something interconnected, beautiful.
Exactly, yeah. It's a vision of unity, harmony, enlightenment for all of humanity. And it suggests that we're moving towards a time of profound transformation, a shift in consciousness
Right.
that will impact every aspect of our lives.
That's a hopeful message, especially
Yeah.
considering all the challenges we see in the world today.
Right.
But what about the Law of One? Does it offer a similar kind of perspective?
So the Law of One acknowledges the possibility of a collective awakening.
Okay.
But it also really emphasizes the importance of individual spiritual progress. Ra suggests that each soul must choose its own path,
Okay.
either towards service to others or service to self.
So it's not just about waiting for some external event to transform us. We have a role to play in our own evolution.
Absolutely, yeah. We're active participants in this process. And according to Ra, the ultimate goal for each individual soul is to achieve a state of harvestability.
Harvestability.
Yeah.
Now that's a new one. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so remember how we talked about densities as levels of spiritual evolution?
Yeah.
Well, harvestability is essentially graduating to the next level, moving
Mhm.
from the third density to the fourth density.
So it's like leveling up in that cosmic video game we talked
Exactly.
about earlier. But how do we pass the test, so to speak, to move on to the next level?
Well, according to the law of one, it all comes down to our choices, our actions.
Okay.
Those who consistently choose a path of service to others,
Okay.
who cultivate love, compassion, understanding, they will naturally graduate to the fourth density, a realm of greater wisdom, harmony, connection.
What about those who don't make the cut? What happens to them?
Ross suggests that those who haven't achieved a sufficient degree of polarization,
Okay.
towards either service to others or service to self, they'll need to repeat the third density cycle. It's not a punishment,
Okay.
but rather an opportunity to continue learning and growing until they're ready to graduate.
So it's like having to retake a class.
Yeah,
If you don't pass the exam,
exactly.
you get another chance to learn the material
Right.
and try again.
And there's no shame in that. It's all part of the process.
Okay, yeah.
And remember, this is all about the evolution of consciousness. There's no rush, no deadline.
Right.
Each soul progresses at its own pace.
Okay, that's reassuring. This idea of choosing between service to others or service to self, though it makes me wonder, like, can't we have a bit of both?
Right.
Don't we need to take care of ourselves before we can truly help others?
That's a great point. And the law of one actually addresses this.
Okay.
It's not about neglecting our own needs
Right.
in order to serve others. It's about recognizing that true service comes from a place of love and abundance, not from a sense of obligation or sacrifice.
So it's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between taking care of ourselves and extending that care outwards to others.
Exactly, yeah. It's about recognizing that we're all connected and that our own well-being is intertwined with the well-being of others.
And remember, both paths, service to others, service to self, ultimately lead back to the same source.
Yeah, they're both part of this grand cosmic dance, you could say.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Both the Starseed Transmissions and the Law of One seem to agree that the path to this ultimate goal, whether it's, collective awakening or individual graduation, it's not always easy. There are going to be challenges along the way.
Oh, absolutely. It's a journey of growth, and growth often comes with challenges.
So where do we find the strength, the
Yeah.
resilience to keep going when things get tough?
That's where the practical advice from these sources comes in. The Starseed Transmissions encourages us to release fear, trust our intuition, and surrender to the flow of life.
Okay.
It suggests that when we align with what it calls the impulse of life, we tap into this infinite source of wisdom and guidance.
So it's about letting go of control,
Yeah,
trusting that we're being guided towards our highest good,
exactly.
even when we can't see the bigger picture.
Right. It's about having faith in the process.
Okay. What about the Law of One? What guidance does it offer?
Well, the Law of One offers a more, I guess you could say, structured approach, reminding us to practice meditation, balance our energy centers, engage in acts of service. All of these things can accelerate our growth.
It's like we have this cosmic toolkit at our disposal.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's up to us to choose which tools resonate with us
Right.
and use them to navigate this journey.
And to remember that it's an ongoing process of discovery and experimentation.
But with all this talk of densities and harvests and all that, it can feel a bit overwhelming,
It can.
Like, how do we even know if we're on the right track?
Yeah, that's a question a lot of people have. And while there's no one-size-fits-all answer, both sources really emphasize the importance of inner guidance.
Okay.
They encourage us to pay attention to our intuition, to notice what brings us joy, fulfillment, and to follow the path that feels aligned with our soul's purpose.
So instead of getting caught up in the rules or worrying about whether we're doing it right, we should just focus on what feels authentic and true for us.
Exactly. Trust your inner compass.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've explored some really mind-bending concepts, and I have a feeling we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's always more to discover.
What are your final thoughts for our listeners as we wrap up this exploration?
If these ideas about consciousness, the veil, wanderers, spiritual evolution, if they've resonated with you, I encourage you to dive deeper into the Starseed Transmissions and the Law of One.
Yeah.
Explore these concepts, contemplate the questions they raise, and most importantly, trust your own inner guidance as you navigate your own unique path.
Beautifully said. And remember, the journey of spiritual exploration is ongoing. It's not about reaching a destination,
Right.
but about embracing the process of growth, discovery, expansion.
It's about the journey itself.
So keep asking questions, keep seeking, and keep shining your light.
And thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the Starseed Transmissions and the Law of One.
Farewell, fellow explorers.